Okay guys, let's get into the video. This is a story about one of Nassau's notorious gangsters of all time. Samuel Mackenzie, better known as Mouche Samuel or Mouche, was one of three leaders of the BorderBoyz. Mouche Mackenzie was the only one of the three who died before he could turn over a new leaf. At the time of his death, Mackenzie was considered one of the most feared and dangerous gangsters on the island of New Providence. Mouche died in a hail of bullets in a drive-by shooting on Hay Street, when a green Key Sportage Jeep pulled alongside him and suspects started to fire shots in his direction. The vehicle was later discovered on fire directly behind a primary school. At that current time, no one has been convicted of his murder. At the time of his death, Mouche Mackenzie was on bail for one of at least 9 murders for which he was charged during the course of his lifespan. Mouche is described in notoriety as being one mini who was crafted by the system. Mouche's longest prison sentence ever was the time he nearly spent 2 years in prison for intent to supply and drug possession, but every year that Mouche ever spent in prison was a in and out kind of thing. Mouche has over 15 bodies and was only arrested for about 9 murder charges. Mouche was the type of notorious killer who would be released after serving 16 months in prison without talking on himself, and within 2 months of his acquitted and released, Mouche was back in police custody for another murder, then sent back to the Foxhill prison awaiting case, but Mouche was never sentenced and convicted for one murder charge. The system made Mouche. His frequent arrests without convictions made him a hero in the over-the-hill community of Nassau, Bahamas. The story behind Stephen D. Stubbs being accused of the murder of Mouche. In my prior videos, like I said, Stubbs was out on bail from the 1997 shooting death of a police officer when he was charged with killing Samuel Mouche Mackenzie, another drug thug who was gunned down in a drive-by shooting. Stubbs spent 17 months in prison when he assaulted a prison officer in an escape attempt. He was later released, then was caught with drugs. He was again granted bail, was then allegedly involved in an armed robbery. Then, while in police custody, Stubbs was accused of threatening to kill officer in charge of CDU, Superintendent Leon Bethel. More in part 2.